Hello, you are listening to the Omni Talk Fast 5, brought to you in partnership with Microsoft, the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, Takeoff, and Sezzle. Our Omni Talk Fast 5 podcast is the podcast that we hope makes you feel a little smarter, but most importantly, a little happier each week too. And especially for all of our listeners over in Europe, either in Ukraine or who have team members in Ukraine, this show is for you.
Yes, it is.
Today is March 3rd. I am your host, Ann Mazinga.
And I'm Chris Walton.
And we are here to once again discuss all the top headlines making waves in the world of omnichannel retailing. Chris, it feels really good to be back.
It does, Ann. And I have to introduce our newest mascot, which for those of you that listened to the show last week, we went out and procured Build-A-Bear's, what is it? Build-A-Bear's After Dark.
After Dark series.
Yeah, After Dark series. A bear from the Build-A-Bear After Dark series, which shout out to Chad Lusk on the show last week, who picked the bear that we were going to procure, and that is our new mascot, Cozy As Fluff. And say hello to Cozy.
Hi, that's really creepy. This is turning a bear toward me and like making it talk. This is terrible.
That's actually a dog sound, is it? That's a bark. Yeah, I don't know what sound does a bear make. Like, is that like grizzly bears in Yellowstone?
I hope
which
to
is
never
so good,
find
by the
out.
way. Yellowstone is so good.
You are crushing Yellowstone right now.
But it's like so kind of like gratuitous though too. But anyway, we won't get off on that subject. But Cozy, it's good to have you. Cozy as Fluff for those watching on TV.
Do we call him Calf?
Calf? Yeah, Calf. Why not? Here he is. See? Hey.
Oh my gosh.
All right, we're done with props. We're not prop comics. Yeah, we're not Carrot Top.
Yeah, we're just gonna set Cozy down in his head.
Cozy down back in his space.
No one's gonna be able to take this seriously with a bear between us.
But I have to give you some. I don't know if this is props or actually kind of a derision that I'm about to lay your way, but. You were in Mardi Gras last week, and you're wearing purple again today.
I'm still sporting Mardi Gras. I got my Rollin' Dirty since 1917 hat that I caught from a float. It's like definitely one of my.
So it says since 1917.
Since 1917.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that on someone that's like that old too. That would be hilarious.
I thought the same.
I'm sure there were people that were doing that. But I gotta at least give you a shout out here. You were working. You worked while you were in Mardi Gras. You went to Walmart and did a video demo of their Scan and Go. What inspired that? And who was behind the video, by the way?
Shout out to my photographer, John Mazinga, who
your brother.
Wanted nothing more, avid Omni Talk listener, wanted nothing more than to punch me directly in the face. And I was like, hey, can you just video me doing Scan and Go? This is cool. I want to try it. In the middle of
nerd alert.
Yeah, this is definite nerd alert. He already knew that. But I'm telling you, this is the Walmart that's in central New Orleans. There's parade floats being done all around us. There's a ton of people in this store. And
you're
I'm
videotaping
can I videotape scanning these Mardi Gras shirts and tumblers we're making drinks in later? But it was I have to say, that experience was slick, super fast scanning. The only issue, Chris,
tell the audience.
We got done. We scanned everything. We got our cart ready. All we need to do is scan the QR code and go. Except Scan and Go is the same line as what they call Scan and Go self-checkout at Walmart. So we still had to wait in a line, even though we didn't have to scan every single item, but so it's still some room for improvement there. But man, that store! Shout out to the Chapatula, New Orleans Walmart. They had stuff running right that day.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is, if you're faster than Dolores at the check lane scanning the items, it's worth it. Otherwise, it's kind of it doesn't really do much for you from a speed standpoint. But I'm damn proud of you for doing that. Kind of embarrassed that you did it too, but damn proud to call you a partner for taking the time to do that and putting your younger brother through that as well. So that's awesome. All right, Ann, I think we got to get to the headlines.
We do.
All right.
Let's do it.
So today we're going to talk about Amazon taking its Just Walk Out technology to Whole Foods, Foot Locker shares dropping on the latest news around Nike, Kroger expanding into another market virtually. DoorDash somehow listing Target with its in-app. We're going to close with that. But first, we take off with another Target-related announcement. And
oh, Chris, I am excited. Parents across the country let out a collective scream of joy this week. Do you know why?
I think I do, Ann.
Target released a press release announcing that customers can now order Starbucks and handle returns without ever getting out of their cars as part of Target's Curbside drive-up service.
Yes, they did. Although there's some nuance to this, which I definitely want to get into.
Yes, there is. So Target said it will begin testing the option for guests in select markets to add a Starbucks order or make a return within Target's free contactless curbside service through the Target app.
Yep.
A company spokeswoman also told CNBC that Target will begin testing the concept with employees, then with customers, in the hopes to scale these features across the country.
That is a key nuance to me. Begin testing. Yes.
Yes. There's lots of testing that will have to happen. Now, Chris, you mentioned Chad Lusk at A&M. He is going to put you on the spot right here and now.
Right off the get-go, right in the beginning. I get this right in the beginning.
With the first one. So,
oh, my God. I'm sure this is going to be super easy, too.
Yes, as always. So here at A&M, like the moms across the country, Chris, Chad says, we think that Target's announcement is exciting and hugely innovative. And
innovative. Nice. Well said.
Thank you. And that I feel like it's A&M, so I have to use my most proper English.
Like an English accent?
Yes.
Which I don't. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Jonathan Sharp would be very
proud.
Yes,
he would.
And that we should expect to see retailers add more benefits to incent curbside pickup over home delivery fulfillment because of the inherently lower cost model.
Yes, that is a benefit.
Right now, this seems to be a game playing out among Amazon, Walmart, and Target. But how do you think that non-mass merchandisers can drive more pickup as well in the long term?
Whoa, okay, curveball. I didn't expect to go there. All right, well, I've got to, okay, there's a lot I want to say on the topic of just Target's announcement in general. Like I said, there's a lot of nuance to what I think they're putting out there. And then also in terms of what A&M's asking inherently in that question, in terms of what it means, for other retailers. Given that it's a put you on the spot question first, I'll tackle that and then I'll try to come back and circle back as quickly as I can to kind of my thoughts on Target and their announcement. In answering the A&M question, to me, my advice would be, for the listeners would be to break that down into two groups. So I would break it out in off mall and mall based.
Okay.
And for the off mall world, so that for people, to me, that's like the Ultas of the world, Home Depots, Kohl's, Burlington, etc. To me, there's no reason why they can't and shouldn't be aspiring to offer the same type of curbside pickup services, for the reasons they're saying. It's a better way to do it economically. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I would say, and Target, for all the fanfare it gets, they kind of serendipitously fell into this whole service. Because I was there at the time when this was very hotly debated. And there were
which part?
Whether or not they should, not the current announcement, just the pickup side of things, which is the inherent part of A&M's question. Mm-hmm. Very hotly debated. And I can remember, and you know who you are if you're listening, there were quite a few people that were poo-pooing them even trying this. And there were literally knockdown, drag-out fights internally. But they did it, and then along comes a pandemic, and they look like heroes because they are 2 to 3 years out in front of the experimentation, and that matters. And what it all starts with, so getting back to the question, what it all starts with is fundamentally, you have to have what I call great available to promise logic. So I'm going to use the Joey Tribbiani air quotes there because it's a very important thing. Available to promise logic in your order management systems is what allows you as a retailer to confidently be able to serve up the inventory for the customers across all these different fulfillment types. If you don't have that, you're not going anywhere. And then you also have to have the inventory accuracy, which RFID plays into and all that. So that's fundamentally where you have to start. And then, like Target, like I said, you have to spend 2 years developing the front-end processes, UX, to make this happen.
Right.
But now, back to the mall-based side of it.
Okay.
You have to do all those things, but then you're saddled within a mall.
Right.
So how do you make this experience happen? For my money, the only way you're going to do it is by doing something like Adept Mind did with Mall of America.
Like
where
collaborative effort,
single
pickup points within the mall.
Yeah, it's the only way it's going to work for the customer, right? But my problem with that is I don't think that the mall-based retailers particularly have the leadership or the innovative thinking to do this. And my point that I would use to drive that home is like Macy's. Macy's, for all the fanfare it's been getting of late, why isn't Jeff Gennett out there saying, we are going to lead the charge on this idea for every mall in America in which we operate? I mean, there's there's a ton of Macy's stores where they could be just taking up the torch on this idea.
Seems like a better use of space than Story, Toys, Wetzel's Pretzels. Why don't you? Yeah, that's a 100%. Great point.
Why aren't you just pulling together all the mall retailers, have a conference in New York at your headquarters, bring all the executives into the room and be like, we are doing this.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my long story short. I don't know if you have any thoughts you want to weigh in on that, but I'd love to talk to the Target angles too.
Yeah, I think that's so smart. Like I would never have thought of that, but that would be a great reason for people to go into Macy's. Like if you're the central location, you're the biggest place, you have the biggest parking lots, like for people to be able to utilize your store as kind of the hub for the mall is brilliant. And goes back to, what David Brown was saying last week of like, how do you get everything done that you need to do in the mall without leaving Macy's?
Why does Simon need to lead this? Or, whomever else, that you want to put in JLL? Like, why do they need to lead this? Why can't Macy's be the leader on this? But going back to what I want to talk about with Target, I mean, I think I'm not as gung-ho on this announcement as I think you are, and I want to see what you have to say.
Yeah.
But I think, first of all, I love the idea. The idea of being able to get my Starbucks in a curbside situation.
I posted on LinkedIn. This is like my dream come true. So I'm holding Target. I'm like, this has to happen now. You said it. You put it out into the universe, and now me and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people are expecting it.
100%. And I told the Star Tribune asked me for a quote on this. I said it's freaking game changing.
Yeah.
And she dropped that quote exactly. I was like, it's so cool in its intent, but I think I'm a little bit like, okay, hold on a second here, because I think there's a little bit of taking PR credit for the idea before it's actually instituted, which honestly bothers me a little bit. I hate when companies do that.
Yeah.
Because I think making this work is pretty hard logistically. If you look at Starbucks, you've got an order. One, it's an order that can't be staged because it needs to be hot, right? And then people are really particular about what it is that how they order their coffee.
Yeah.
So there's a different dynamic here than, say, the standard curbside pickup order where you're getting a frozen pizza from DiGiorno that you kind of know what that's going to look like, right? Or some other like Crest toothpaste, right? Like you can't screw that up if you're Target. And then you get into returns, like that gets inherently complex. You start bringing back online return items as well. Like I can remember being a store manager, like somebody brought back a mattress they brought online.
Yeah.
Imagine if somebody brings a couch to this.
Which they're definitely going to if they have to pull up the car and don't have to haul it out of the car.
100% they are. And so that's going to screw up with these processes to a large degree. And it's going to take a long time to figure this out. So while they're claiming this, I think this is going to not roll out nationally, would be my hunch, that quickly.
Yeah.
But I think there's actually a cooler pivot on this, which I want to tease that.
Okay.
Because I want to get your thoughts on it. Do you agree with me or not?
Yes. No, I totally agree. I think I think that the biggest challenge for Target to roll this out is actually going to be the staffing and handling the returns part of it. Because even with the most, forward thinking, like early adopter customers, you're still going to have an issue with some of the returns, and how long I think the staff applied to those returns it's going to take. Like there's going to be more of a process, and that will be the biggest hurdle I think to get over. I tend to disagree with you about the Starbucks and that kind of availability. Like both Starbucks mobile order pickup and Target's curbside pickup are best in class examples. They get thrown out everywhere. They do that very well. Yeah. And so I think that that's just a matter of working out the right back end, like timing. When do we fire the Starbucks order? And, people are used to ideally getting your coffee right away when you pull up, but they understand that there could be some lag time that happens within Starbucks too.
That's true. That's a good point.
So I'm not as worried about that.
So maybe it introduces more slack into the system. I hadn't thought about that.
Yes, I think that there are those logistical hurdles can definitely be overcome. Now, to quickly answer A&M's question, I think that, the biggest advantage, I guess, for non-Targets, Walmarts, Amazons is returns. Accepting returns without having to get out of the car and doing curbside returns, especially in the world of online commerce that we live in, I think that is the biggest thing that I would focus on. However you execute it.
Not anyone can duplicate Starbucks, right? Yeah, It's really the return part that's essential to
Absolutely.
this. Yeah, right.
Okay, but I want to hear what your tease is. What were you thinking?
So, coincidentally, Target also announced this week they're investing $5 billion again.
Yes.
And part of that is in store remodels and things. Now, my hunch is that this is nowhere on their roadmap. But what I would be doing is taking a portion of that money and experimenting with creating a drive-through lane for Starbucks that is coordinated with the architecture of the store.
For sure.
to simplify this. And I would also possibly even look at a walk-up pickup window into where, to the Starbucks part of the Target.
It's almost like I've heard of that before or something.
That's the type of thing. I mean, we've talked about that for years.
Yeah, what Kroger's doing at their Cincinnati store, where you have the Starbucks pickup window right in the...
That's the type of stuff that I would want to see here.
Okay.
And I would love to see them take that step, because I think that simplifies it, and I think customers would just be just as interested in using that service. And it would simplify the operations potentially greatly. So anyway, that's my thoughts. And I don't know, closing word on this?
I think that's definitely worth experimentation. I don't know that I think they need to drive up Starbucks, and I would like it all in one if they can figure that out.
You would. I think you think this is ideally better. Yeah, which I think that's true too. But I think there's...
And maybe they can make dinner and then deliver that too.
Yeah. Right. That yes, they can.
And my dry cleaning. Just basically Target brings...
It's a floor wax and a dessert topping.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to headline 2. We took some time on that first one intentionally because it was kind of a big story this week. But this one's huge too. Amazon has opened up a new Whole Foods in D.C. that leverages its Amazon Go-style Just Walk Out technology. According to Chain Storage, the store is roughly 21,000 square feet and can be found in the Glover Park, neighborhood of DC. That was my Grover impression, from Sesame Street. Okay. According to Amazon, it has also expanded the computer vision algorithms of its Just Walk Out tech to support all the store's selection, including self-service stations, where this is my favorite. Customers can serve up things like fresh squeezed orange juice and mochi ice cream.
Oh.
And
yes,
I fought hard for this story.
You did. You sure fought hard for this.
To make the headlines. But after a night's sleep, I'm curious, 24 hours of sitting on it, where's your head on it? Are you coming around to its importance in the world of omnichannel retailing?
Chris, I try to say this to you as little as I possibly can, but
I know where this is going.
You were right, and this is a bigger story than I think yesterday I was willing to give it credit for.
Okay. Why?
I have some caveats, though. I think you should start here and explain why you think that this is a big story.
Oh, really? You're turning the tables on me.
And then I will explain my counterpoint.
Okay. Well,
sir.
I think this story...
This is like one of those apologies where I'm like, I'm sorry, but...
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I'm sorry, but... Yeah, right. But I'm not really sorry. All right. Well, and I think this story is big. And the reason I think it's big is I call it what I would call this, or I would dub this a non-retrofit.
Okay.
We've talked about the importance of retrofitting this technology into existing stores. This is not that.
Yep.
But it is kind of that in that it's retrofitting it into an existing brand. Mm-hmm. This is the first example I can think of where Amazon has taken a technology and applied it to an existing brand, something that already is out there. I've said on this podcast, I've said on countless other podcasts in which I've been interviewed, the biggest advantage Amazon has is that none of us have a preconceived notion of what its consumer experiences should look like. That's true of Amazon Go, true of Amazon Fresh, Go Grocery, whatever you want to call it. That is not true of Whole Foods. We all have an expectation of what a Whole Foods experience should be. And so you're walking a different tightrope here. And the fact that they're doing this then is huge. It is big. And so that is something that I think people have to take notice. There's no stopping this freight train at all. They just announced today they're shutting down all their other physical stores.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
To focus on this, which goes back to our hypothesis all along that those stores were never meant to be anything to begin with.
You mean you're not going to have, you don't want 4-stars in malls? You might want a convenience store or fashion concept instead, perhaps?
Right. They were proving grounds for the tech, right? They were proving grounds for the computer vision tech and how people shopped and understanding that and returns and all that kind of stuff. So, Target, Walmart, Kroger, you guys got to wake up here. That's my thing. Big aha I had this week, too. I got the chance to interview Choice Market CEO Mike Fogarty for GTC, which is coming up in a couple weeks, you guys. You guys should check it out. He basically said, there is so many scale benefits to this if you think about understanding this technology. He's gone from convenience stores to now putting it in hospitals. Mm-hmm. Walmart and Target, why aren't you just experimenting with this in smaller formats to see what happens? Why couldn't you have a Target inside hospitals?
Right. I'm hopeful that $5 billion in stores that Target's putting towards that's going into some of this experimentation. And if it's not, I will be shocked. I mean, that is...
Oh, will you? I won't be at all. I don't think there's a damn.
How can you
I don't think there's a damn cent that will go to this. But anyway,
you're probably right.
But But what do you think? I mean, so you agree with that, or is there anything you'd add?
I don't agree with you that this is going to be the shock to people's systems that you make it out to be. You and the New York Times reporter who claimed that the experience was already divisive among customers. I was like, okay, lady.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be divisive. That's not what I'm saying. That's what she was saying.
That's what the New York Times reporter was saying. He or she, I can't remember.
I'm saying it's bold experiment because people could perceive it that way, but they won't.
Yes, but I think that you are forgetting that Amazon has been a presence in Whole Foods since they took over in 2018. I mean, Prime discount scans have been happening at checkout since that time, signage throughout the store, returns in store, pickup lockers. So I don't think this is this to me, for the Whole Foods customer, this is just going to be the next iteration. Like, this is just Amazon further extending their experience in store. I don't think this is I don't think you can say the same where it's like, this is Amazon doing something that nobody's ever expected in the store, that it's a completely new experience, because Amazon's footprint has been in there. I think there's going to be a bigger shock when we see like Trigo and Wakefern coming together and creating an entirely new experience for a Wakefern shopper that will be better. But I mean, I think that's where you're going to see more of a new experience for people. Or if you put this in a Safeway, then you will in a Whole Foods.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, the part with Wakefern, it depends, because like you scale it down depending to, but this is like a full-scale Amazon Go store. But your point's right. Like you've acclimated the Whole Foods customer to being owned by Amazon for a while.
Right.
And it is still a new store.
Right.
Which helps get you past that gap too.
Right.
So I think that's a great point you're bringing up.
Okay, well, let's go to headline number 3, Chris. So Foot Locker projected a big revenue drop in 2022 this past week, saying that it will no longer likely sell as many Nike products as it has in years past. So according to NBC, shares slipped 30% this past Friday. As Foot Locker said, the news reflects the accelerated shift by Nike to sell more of its sneakers and apparel directly to consumers. Chris, what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, this one, I think you and I are going to debate this one too, actually, which is good because I like when that happens. I kind of wonder if this isn't a bit of an overreaction as well. We talk on this show a lot of times that, the right answer is always balance. And so I think it's funny that, news comes out this week too that Alberts is, talking about building out wholesale relationships when, what was it, 6 months ago? I don't know exactly how many months, but they were talking about, they were saying they need to raise money because they need to build stores. They need to be more directly related to their customer. Now they're looking at wholesale relationships. So I feel like this whole wholesale versus direct thing is going to filter out. It feels like Nike should be a part of the Foot Locker experience to me to some degree, but I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about this with my 1989 Air Force Ones nostalgia here, and of going to the mall. So I prove me wrong here. Like, what's your take here?
No, I mean, this is bad news for Foot Locker.
Oh, really?
I mean, it actually reminds me of what happened to Macy's long ago. When, the big brands started pulling out of Macy's, you're not getting as you've, quoted multiple times on the show, La Crusade is not selling their products in Macy's anymore. It's Martha Stewart Living brand or, the Macy's own brands.
That's an example,
And there's not enough, allure to go to the Macy's anymore because Nike, in this case, Nike is a reason for people to go to a Foot Locker. Nike sales made up 70% of Foot Locker sales last year.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
It's huge. So there is, this is going to be a huge impact on Foot Locker. But my argument from Nike's perspective is just because, and I agree with you, wholesale is a component of your business. It should be a component of your business. It doesn't mean you got to go wholesale with everybody.
Right.
Okay, you got to focus your efforts on this. I think that, when you look at stores, you have nearly as many Dick's Sporting Goods who they're going in heavy with as there are Foot Lockers. So it's not like you're giving up the option for somebody to go to
it's more
to
convenient
try them
to go
on.
to a Dick's too when you think about the full assortment.
And the experience is better. Plus, they're tying in your loyalty program.
Right.
So I think that's a huge part of it.
Great point.
And buying direct from Nike is just a better experience now. I mean, when was the last time you were at a Foot Locker and trying to find Nikes? They have limited selection. Right. They don't always have the sizes that you need. And you are able to get better prices, better assortment, and you have a great return policy with Nike, free returns and shipping. It's just the experience is ultimately better going to a Nike or going to a Dick's Sporting Goods.
Well, and you're a mom in this headspace right now because your kid is definitely in this age.
Yes.
And so I think you've got me I think you've got me reversing course on this pretty hard. I think this is actually the canary in the coal mine. Because the other point that was raised in these articles, in the statements that Foot Locker put out, is that they're now going to invest in their own brands.
Right.
And I'm like, what Foot Locker own brands are you going to use to compete in this space? Which, as we've talked about 1,000 times, is 100% the harbinger of more bad news to come.
Right. Yep. No,
and we don't even need to, hopefully for the loyal listeners, we don't need to retread on why that is, but like be alarmed by that part of this announcement. So yeah, and I think when I put that against what you just said, yeah, this might just be the beginning of further troubles. All right, let's do headline number 4. Kroger is expanding into Oklahoma, similar to how it did in Florida last year. Without stores. This is so exciting.
Chris, this is like your favorite topic of all time.
It is. I think this is
you just get so excited
It's so cool. And according to the Dallas Morning News, Kroger will offer online grocery shopping from its new automated facility in Dallas, which is built in partnership with Ocado.
Okay.
And will also coordinate deliveries with what is calling a 50,000 square foot, quote unquote, spoke facility.
Yes.
In Oklahoma City. The Oklahoma spoke facility is said to deliver within a 200-mile radius and is expected to employ up to 191 full-time employees. I love this. You can tell by my voice, but what do you think?
Yeah, this was actually one that I fought for before the Whole Foods Just Walk Out technology when we were coming into the Fast Five selection.
Yes, I kowtowed to you.
process yesterday, but this spoke facility can deliver within a 200-mile radius. Like, that is a lot. You think about, like, we've been focusing so much on micro fulfillment and like these fulfillment centers delivering into like 5-10-mile radius. I'm just an average person, but to me that is like shocking. Like, that is crazy. And so I think that this was, when I read this, it was made very apparent to me that the coverage capability that they have for this model is significant enough that they can start now in a new market to make a pretty big impact on grocery and being a preferred grocery provider, especially whatever pricing they're going to be able to offer, because they don't have to operate a store. And I think a lot of people gave them so much crap early on, like when Ocado was coming, when they, merged with Ocado, people were saying like you can't do what you did in the UK Ocado where you have these dense urban settings, but now they're delivering to a 200-mile radius, Chris, and that's just one of the spokes.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not a math major, but a radius is half the length of a circle, right? Is that what it is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, it's different than circumference, which is the full length, right?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. I just want to make sure I had that
yes.
right, because I think that's a critical piece of information here. But I digress. Anyway, and I 100% agree. Like, this story is not covered enough, in my opinion. Yes. I searched it, actually. And there was only one other mention of it last week outside the Dallas Morning News, and it was, of course, the great people at Grocery Dive who do an awesome job. No one else picked it up. This is the largest grocer in the country entering a second market now virtually, maybe a third if you include New York, the announcement they made last year too. But that tells me two things.
Yes.
Okay. One, it tells me that they are liking what they're seeing in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're not liking what they're seeing in Florida, and this is the next attempt to try to see if this idea still works.
Yes.
But either way, we're going to have an answer to that question in a few months or few years when they decide to either enter another market or not enter another market.
Yeah.
But this is telling. This is
my guess
something
is few
to
months.
keep an eye on.
Yeah. My guess is we're going to hear another one in a few months.
Right.
Like, the speed that they've been rolling this out is fierce.
Yeah, my hunch is it's working. But if you're listening, Kroger, if you know anything, let us know, because we'd love to talk about it on succeeding shows here as we go along. But all right, Ann, let's finish this show up.
Speaking of Grocery Dive, Jeff Wells and team broke the news this week that Target's assortment is currently available via the DoorDash app in cities like Cleveland, Atlanta, Louisville, Kentucky, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Seattle, which is odd, Chris, because a Target spokesperson told Jeff and team at Grocery Dive that Target exclusively partners with Shipt to offer same-day delivery of online orders to millions of guests across the country. We do not, they said, have a business relationship with DoorDash. So what we have here is clearly the case of what some are calling ninja shopping, whereby the third-party delivery marketplaces are listing products of retailers without the retailer's knowledge, a practice DoorDash also acknowledged to Grocery Dive, which is exactly what they are doing.
That was my favorite part of the article. Like, they were so brazen about this. They're like, yeah, that's totally what we're doing.
Yeah. I talked to Jeff about this article.
Yeah, you recorded this article, right?
And, he was saying, he's like, Instacart did this a couple years ago, too. Like, this is not a new thing, but what do you think about this, Chris? Like, I got to hear your perspective.
Yeah, and we might spend some time on this one, too, because I think there's a lot of nuance to this conversation, too. But fundamentally, when I hear about this stuff, it irks the hell out of me.
Well, yeah, I'm picturing you, like, getting the call when you were at an executive at Target, and they're like, guess what, Mr. Chris, they're selling our stuff on DoorDash.
Yeah, it would piss me off.
Yeah.
I have a real problem with it because you're siphoning off value that I give to the marketplace by scraping my inventory off my website or my product information off your website. And that just feels kind of inherently wrong to me.
Okay.
But admittedly, Ann, I don't know where to draw the line on this. Like, I was thinking about, okay, like, where am I okay with scraping internet?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, there's pricing services that scrape, your pricing relative to one retailer to the other, and the retailers pay for it. I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that. That makes sense.
Your customers are scraping the internet looking for pricing information.
But hold on a second.
Okay.
Well, actually, I take that back. So like, I kind of am peeved by this, but tell me why I'm wrong. Because I think I know where you're going, but I think there's nuance to that too. So yeah, keep going.
Okay, this is mostly grocery. But
it could in theory be done anywhere.
It could be done anywhere, but specifically in these examples, it's mostly grocery items. But I think that you have a hard time being like the authorized seller of celery. Like how can Target be like this? Like this is the kind of stuff they're getting their grocery products. There's nothing ninja about this, Chris.
Well, there's nothing ninja about it. It's a stupid name.
No,
100%.
Everybody knows what's going on here. Retailers are just getting upset now that the convenience market has been democratized. This has been going on for years. People have had personal assistants that have been doing this. Your home designers are reselling product for you and charging an upcharge for going and picking it out for you. Like, this has been going on, and people were doing the same damn thing. They just weren't using technology to do it, and nobody was up in arms because the retailers were still getting the sales. So I think that, this is not, for me, I mean, I don't know. I don't see the problem. So
you don't have a problem with this at all. You're like scrape away, and especially because they're going into other businesses too. Like, Instacart and DoorDash have relationships with every other retailer now at this point, right? So like you could in theory have this happening anywhere, any brand.
Right.
Your personal assistant argument kind of makes sense. Like, okay, you're just facilitating that at a greater scale.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, though, there's a difference in the first party data relationship in that situation. Like, your relationship with it's one-to-one, right? Like, it's not being assumed by this marketplace that then creates all those first party relationships outside of the retailer. What the retailer, like the personal assistant, like that assistant is still going to that retailer on behalf of that person, which is a more direct connection here as well that I think is just inherently different.
But I guess I don't understand that, because if you're going to have Instacart or Shipt or anybody like facilitating, I mean, Shipt is different because that's a hard one to like use for this example. But I think if you're going to use Instacart, which, lots of retailers are using, or DoorDash or Grubhub or whoever, you're already like losing that personal relationship. But what's the bigger risk here, I guess? Is it what's more important, the sales or the...
But you're saying the retailer's choosing not to use them in this case. And so then then if they're scraping it, they're getting that relationship that they otherwise wouldn't.
Yeah.
And so that is a difference in data transfer and understanding your customer and what they want, which is kind of subversive to me in a way. But I don't know. I don't know the answer to this.
I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think the other issue is that, like, if there's a problem with your order, DoorDash in this case is the one that's hearing about it, not Target. So it's like they are doing something that justifies them having to like get an extra commission off of doing this. I think the Target is also like, again, what is more important to you, Target? Sales revenue or the direct relationship with the customer? And, you're still getting your products in the hands of those customers, and the potential of bringing them into a Target store, and maybe they like got a good and gather product through DoorDash that they wouldn't have received otherwise. Like,
yeah, I mean,
there's no harm in this test. Like, it's good. It's better for everybody, especially for DoorDash. Like, if nothing else, they do this. They get Target to see that there's an interest in their services.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I'm not gonna get on the old man. I think I'm getting off the old man, get off my lawn kind of thing here with this, because in a way it's just like a different version of affiliate marketing, in a lot of ways, but you're just not, I mean, and you're right. Target, if they're doing this in that many cities, Target knows about it. Like, the store manager's going to be like, about it. Why is DoorDash's runner in this store picking products and then checking out? Like, it's so freaking
That's what
obvious.
I mean. There's like, what is the priority here?
Yeah. So you're right. I mean, maybe I'm too Clint Eastwood and Gran Torino on this one. All right, let's close this show up.
All right. So Chris, lightning round time. According to Retail Touchpoint's headline, Beta has ended U.S. operations but leaves multiple lessons for other retailers. What would you say one of those lessons might be, Chris?
Oh, man. God, that's a tough question. First of all, I want to salute all the folks at Beta. Like, we've known those guys for a long time. And, hey, they entered the arena, and they tried to make it work for a long time. I'm actually really sad to see them go. And so my heart goes out to them because they tried to do the battle. I mean, the lessons for me, and if you got a chance to watch the interview we did with their CEO probably 2 years ago now over that, I thought it was really interesting because I thought, the business model economics matter in terms of what's underlying, how it's going to work ultimately and where the pressure points will come from and where they won't. That's my big takeaway. All right, and grocery delivery startup We was just valued at $4.1 billion in its latest round of funding. What is your take?
This is just the beginning for We. Huge underserved market. There are still very few Asian and Hispanic items available from big box grocers and instant delivery providers. So I think this is just the very start. I joined Walmart Plus, by the way. I forgot to tell you that. Oh,
you did?
You have to. Did you scan and go in the store?
Oh.
So I used Walmart Plus yesterday to make a dish that I automatically added recipes to. And half of the things are not available. You can get them.
You have to join Walmart Plus. You have to pay the subscription fee to use scan and go in the store.
You get a free trial. Oh, but yes, you do.
That's crazy. The question for me, though, with We potentially growing, as you said, is it reminds me of the old Saturday Night Live skit. Is it We, little We, and then freaking huge? Anyway, all right. That joke was lost on hand, but all you Saturday Night Live fans will know what I'm talking about. Mike Myers.
All right.
And
it's my turn. It's my turn. Banana Republic launched Baby and Banana Republic athleisure product on their site this week, Chris. Given your Gap pedigree, do you think parents across the country are about to break the BananaRepublic.com site in order to get their hands on a $200 cashmere baby blanket?
No, what the F is going on at Gap? Why in the hell would you waste any time on this?
I think they're trying to compete with Zara, maybe? I don't know.
Why would you waste any time on these home furnishings partnerships with Walmart and all that? Why? What the hell point does that serve?
I don't know.
All right, Ann, this is a good one. I'm proud of this question. Pantene and Stubbs are now being offered in reusable containers in 25 Fred Meyer stores around Portland through Kroger's new partnership with Loop. So my question for you is, at home, who works himself up into a bigger lather, you or Mr. Omni Talk?
For sure, Mr. Omni Talk.
Really?
I think he showers 3 times a day.
Really? Okay, so we're going with showering. All right, on that one. All right.
Oh, God.
That's our interpretation of lathering.
I'm still him. I'm going with him.
All right, still going with him. All right. Happy birthday today to Ronan Keating, Herschel Walker, and my own slice of visual seventh heaven, Jessica Biel.
Did you know Herschel Walker used to have a show here? And a late night show? He used to go, Herschel Walker.
No
Herschel
way.
Walker,
When you played for the Vikings?
Herschel Walker show. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh, yes. I think it was on after SNL, actually. Yeah. I'll find some clips and send them to you. And Jessica Biel's from Minnesota, too. So.
Oh, my God. And Ronan Keating, shout out to he has that song, The Touch of Your Hand lets me know when you need me.
Oh, my God. Oh,
that's from whatever Julia Roberts, Hugh Grant movie that is. What movie is that? Why can't I think of it right now? All right, anyway. And remember, if you can only read or listen to one retail blog in the business, make it Omni Talk. Our Fast Five podcast is the quickest, fastest rundown of all the week's top news. And our twice-weekly newsletter tells you the top 5 things you need to know each day and also features special content exclusive to us and just for you. And if it's all within the preview pane of your inbox, you can sign up today at www.omnitalk.blog. Thanks, as always, for listening in. Please remember to like and leave us a review wherever you happen to listen to your podcast or on YouTube. And, of course, as always, Ann, be careful out there.
Bye. The Omni Talk Fast 5 is a Microsoft-sponsored podcast. Microsoft Cloud for Retail connects your customers, your people, and your data across the shopper journey, delivering personalized experiences and operational excellence. We are also brought to you in association with the A&M Consumer and Retail Group. The A&M Consumer and Retail Group is a management consulting firm that tackles the most complex challenges and advances its clients, people, and communities toward their maximum potential. CRG brings the experience, tools, and operator-like pragmatism to help retailers and consumer products companies be on the right side of disruption. And Takeoff. Takeoff is transforming grocery by empowering grocers to thrive online. The key is micro-fulfillment, small robotic fulfillment centers that can be leveraged at a hyper-local scale. Takeoff also offers a robust software suite so grocers can seamlessly integrate the robotic solution into their existing businesses. To learn more, visit takeoff.com. And Sezzle. Sezzle is an innovative buy now, pay later solution that allows shoppers to split purchases into 4 interest-free payments over 6 weeks. To learn more, visit Sezzle.com.